YouTube. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rosie. I'm a New Zealander currently based in France, and I have a YouTube channel around travel, New Zealand culture, French culture, and everything else in between. Today's video is about what to pack in your carry-on luggage for long haul flights. As I'm sure you can imagine, being a New Zealander based in France, I've undertaken quite a few long haul flights in my life. I've flown door to door, so journeys that last at least 26 hours, 9 times now. So I'm getting quite used to flights that last a really long time. So I just wanted to go through today what I pack into my carry-on luggage to make sure that these long flights are as pleasant of an experience as they can be, and also what I wear on the plane. Alright, so let's get started with the toiletries. As you guys know, it depends on the airline, but in general, you can't take many liquids with you in your carry-on. They have to be 100 mils or less, the bottles themselves, and then they all have to fit into that small plastic bag. You can find on your airline company's website the exact dimensions. So I prioritize taking things that hydrate you. When you're on a long haul flight, one of the main things you notice is the air conditioning. Not only does it keep you quite cold, but it dries your skin and it dries your eyes. So with this being said, I take eye drops, lip balm, face cream, and hand cream, or oils if that's what you prefer. I personally take this hand cream with me, and I actually apply it every 2 hours on my hands and my forearms, just like that, to keep feeling a little bit more human, a little bit more hydrated. What I recommend is not to go for a hand cream or face cream that has a really strong scent though, because you'll get really sick of the smell after spending that long in the air. What I also like to pack is deodorant, of course, and baby wipes. They just help me keep fresh. Oh, and before I forget, hand sanitizer as well. You know, you're touching the screen to select your movies, and a lot of fingers have touched that screen, so hand sanitizer for sure. Then I always take a hairbrush and a toothbrush. Now, most airline companies, when you're doing these really long haul voyages, they are actually going to give you a blanket and maybe some socks and an eye mask and a little toothbrush with a little toothpaste. But I'm just so risk averse, I'm just sort of like, well, what if they don't? You can get in touch with them to see exactly what they provide if you don't want to overpack. The idea of not brushing my teeth for 30 hours just freaks me out. Then when it comes to your general comfort, of course you want to pack a travel pillow. You get provided with these thin little rectangles when you hop onto a long haul flight, and they're never really sufficient to have a decent sleep. I personally have a very chunky travel pillow. I think, you know, those cheapies that you can get for like $10 at the airport, honestly, I've done flights that have lasted for 18 hours, so from Dubai to Auckland, and honestly, after a while, it gets to a point where you're like, your head is basically touching your shoulder. Well, I was actually given this as a present. See why I don't want to admit that I bought it myself. It's the French flag. Kind of ridiculous, but it's memory foam. So it's really nice and sturdy. You can put that on. You can sleep in so many ways. Another thing to pack if you're that way inclined are sleeping pills. Now, I don't personally take them. However, I think if you go and see a doctor, you can get their advice on, you know, would it make sense for you to have a sleeping pill, and if so, at what point in your journey. Next, you'll want to think about packing a little eye mask. I don't know why every flight ever does this, but sometimes they leave the cabin lights on, or sometimes they light up the entire cabin really early in the morning because of the time that they're landing. So if you want to keep sleeping during these moments, this is ideal. And if you're not too fashion conscious, you can actually use it as a headband to keep the hair out of your face as well. If you're sensitive to noise, you could also think about packing earplugs or investing in some noise cancelling headphones. I'd also recommend taking a few snacks on board with you. I would pack up, you know, a huge bottle of water, because you get so dehydrated on these flights. You've got to drink so much. I would probably recommend drinking about 2 liters of water per long haul flight. And then I just get a few snacks, you know, not too salty, not too sweet, because you never know if you're going to enjoy the meals. And even though you can ask for snacks on board, it's usually just 2-minute noodles. So it's always nice to have something that you actually enjoy with you as well. Definitely also pick up some chewing gum. It just helps to keep you fresh, I feel. And you can also pick up a few kind of easy reading magazines, which brings me on to my next point, which is around the entertainment. So when it comes to in-flight entertainment, most people just think about the movies that you'll be able to watch, but honestly, believe me, 24 hours in the air, you get to a point where you cannot watch any more movies. Pretty easy with Netflix. You can actually download episodes on your phone or on your iPad if you have one, if you have a series that you're just into binging at the moment. I'm a huge fan of podcasts. I download hours worth of podcast material. Of course, your e-reader if you have one, Kindle, Kobo, you know the drill. And I would also recommend checking your air company's website to see which movies will be playing exactly. Firstly, you can pick up a kind of like movie strategy about what movies that you'd like to prioritize, and it means that you can kind of avoid them as well in the few months leading up to your flight. Now, I know that we're living in a digital age, but something I would recommend is taking a real magazine or a book or a puzzle book, you know, Sudoku, anything like that, because what I find is that my eyes get so sick of looking at screens. It's nice just to kind of give them a little bit of a break and help them to recover a little bit before going in for your like 15th movie. When it comes to your chargers, most airplanes will provide a USB socket, but if you have a long stopover, it could be useful also to bring a portable charger, just in case all of the charging sockets are kind of taken up in the airport for whatever reason. Now, when it comes to what to wear, I mean, firstly, of course, take a spare change of underwear, so singlets or, you know, actual underwear, because even if you don't have a shower in the airport where you stop over, the least that you can do to make yourself feel a little bit more human again is change your clothes, and that just makes the world of difference. Next, I've kind of always been the most comfortable that I've ever been on flights when I'm wearing layers. Maybe like leggings, a singlet, a t-shirt, then an oversized light cardigan, and then a light scarf, you know, kind of like a summer weight scarf, because I find the flight can get very cold. I would also recommend just wearing really comfy shoes like trainers, and have some nice comfy socks as well, because your feet swell, especially when you're traveling for 20+ hours. It's just nice to be able to take off your shoes once you're inside the plane and just relax a bit. So make sure you have nice socks, and like relatively thick as well, because as I said, it does get cold. Now, this is not sexy at all, but I would recommend to everyone to get compression stockings or socks, because it's really important that we look after our veins and our legs. And then before I get on the flight as well, I just like to make sure that I'm freshly showered, that my nails are trimmed, and that I've moisturized as well. Again, just to make sure that I'm as hydrated as possible. And then when it comes to my face, makeup free. It's the only way. Fresh, moisturized. Honestly, I think it's really gross for your skin, especially if you have to go 30 hours without a shower to have these products on your skin, and it's irritating to your eyes as well if your eyeballs are getting dry in the airplane and you've got mascara and whatnot. This is not a fashion runway. You're trying to get from point A to point B, so honestly, fresh face. Cool guys, so those are my essentials for my carry-on bag and what I wear when I'm flying. I'd love to hear from you guys. If there's anything that's on your list that wasn't on my list, let me know down below. What are your essentials of flying, especially long haul? What saves you? What makes it all so much more bearable? And otherwise, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Aviento!